Hey everyone, this is Judi with JLBCrafts. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a try. In this video, I'm going to be setting up and doing a guided hand lettering practice for the week of April 18th to the 24th. We're learning letter K this week, and if you've watched any of last year's hand lettering videos, especially from the second half of the year, you'll know K is one of the letters that I don't love. So, it's not that I've been dreading this week. I just, I hope I have a breakthrough this week. Let's just put it that way. I don't love K. I don't love F, S, R. There are a few letters that they never really clicked for me, and K is one of them. But we're not going to let that stop us. Maybe we'll have a breakthrough, like I said. So, and then that is it. We start with descenders after that. So that's our last descender pretty much. And then we start with descenders. So ascenders go above the baseline. Above the midline all the way to the top line, and descenders drop below the baseline. So when we've been okay with ascenders so far, but when we mix together ascenders and descenders, then we run into issues where the words can start hitting each other. So I have some stuff planned for that to help us out there. We'll get into that next week with the J, but until then, let's go ahead and get started with our K. So for the theme this week, I'm going to go with the Planning with Caprice Challenge. She took a little bit of a break, but she's back now. And her theme for this week is Nurturing Nature, which at first I was like, oh man, I can do anything because it's nature, right? I have tons and tons and tons of florals. But then I thought, all right, let's get a little deeper. What does nurturing nature mean to me? And I always think of like watering your houseplants, or in your houseplant or in a greenhouse, really helping nature along, holding its hand, just really, babysitting, loving nature. And so one way to love nature is gardening or greenhouse, or bringing nature indoors in the form of houseplants. So then I pulled the Live Love Posh. I have the Rainbow Edit. I do have the full set, but this is the Green Blooms book, which you can buy these books individually now. And one of the sets in the green book is houseplants. And I was like, right on, those are the ones I'm going to use. But you know what? Unfortunately, most of them are too tall to go across the top, and a lot of them are too wide to fit across the spine. So then I got to looking at my washi, and long story short, we're going to do a full-on all washi spread again this week. I did one of those relatively recently because I have these washis. And so I was going to mix the two, but this one's got kind of a yellowish background, and so it's going to affect the page. So I'm going to use strips of this one across to build up the center. This one is slightly yellowish as well, not quite as yellow. And I thought, well, I can cut these off and put them along the side and go across the top. But A, some of them are a little bit wide, and B, I just feel like having this exact washi all the way across the top and on both sides is going to be a little bit too much. So then I pulled, and these two washis, incidentally, are both from AliExpress. So just look, do a search in AliExpress for plant washi, and you'll get tons and tons and tons of options. This is a Simply Gilded. So there are lots of different shades of greens in this. And when I decided I didn't want to use this one across the top and down the sides, I decided to go ahead and go with this one because it's got the deep green, it's got the more blue green, it's got the yellowy spring green. So this is what I'm going to use along the edges. So no stickers again this week. I'm going to go ahead and get started and speed this up. Feel free to skip if you want. I do have a link in the description box for a coupon for Simply Gilded for $5 off a purchase of $15 or more, and then I get that same coupon. And the way to get to that is signing up for their no spam newsletter, and it is a no spam newsletter. I've never gotten an email from her that I felt like was spam, and I'm pretty spam intolerant. I've had the same email address since 1999, and as you can imagine, over the years, it's been used to sign up for a lot of stuff. So, yeah, like I said, I am pretty spam intolerant, so I definitely consider her newsletter to be no spam. So there you go. All right, let's find some bullet points then. I think I might just go ahead and use these green hearts. I think I'll use the bigger ones though. I'm gonna go ahead, since the washi tape has a little bit of this tealy green as well as this green, I think I'll mix the two together. And this is just my big book of bullet points. I will link in the cards up above how I made this, but basically anytime I came across a book that had a page that was all or mostly bullet points, I went ahead and pulled it out and added it to that book. So let me grab a pen. I'm feeling like dark green. Let's keep it all green and we'll write in the assignments. So of course the first thing we're going to do is warm up, but then we're going to learn the letter K, lowercase letter K, and then we're going to start a couple words with K. So no, as in you don't know what you don't know. Kilt. And then we're going to put K in the middle or at the end. So we have bake. And there really weren't a lot of words in the English language using the letters that we already know that had a double K. So that's why it is not included. So there's milk. So we have an ascender right next to the new K that we're learning. And the rest of these all have the K at the end. Deck and Hulk. All right, so I am going to have a wonderful fun time picking a whole bunch of green pens. We'll see, I might throw a brown in there. I haven't decided yet, and I'll be back. Alright, so here are the pens I've chosen. I'm going to go with the hard tip Tombow Fudenosuke in the original green, not the neon green. That's the stiffest. I always put my pens from stiffest to softest. I do have one Caleograph. This is the moss green Caleograph. There we go. And it has a brush tip at both ends. I'll use it, at least in the beginning, I'll use both ends. Then I have the Vice brand, the lighter of the two greens that come in the multicolor pack. And I have all of these pens linked in my description boxes. And then I have the kind of olive green looking Pentel brush sign pen. I think this was in the second pack. They've both been out for quite some time now, and you can get them both on Amazon. So let's get started. Again, starting with the firmest pen and working my way to the softest. I'm just going to write Ace over and over. So this is the Tombow Fudenosuke. Tombow's the brand. Fudenosuke is the style. Right, next I have the Cleograph. So I will do most of the line with the small end, and then I'll do one at the end with the big end. And for the big end, it is so big that you basically have to use both lines. So, love that dusty, dusty shade of green. Next I have the Vice brand, which really these two are kind of interchangeable as far as stiffness in my opinion. This one might be just a tiniest bit softer. And then finally I have the Pentel Touch brush sign pen. Pentel makes tons of pens. This is their main brush pen. And it is definitely the softest. You already ate lunch, dude. You already ate lunch. I don't know what you want. You want to snuggle on Mommy's lap, don't you? Keep going. Let me get a little more of this done and then we'll take a break, okay? Hi, baby. He's headbutting me. I know you can't see it because I'm so zoomed in. What, baby? Oops, I didn't check. I was probably out of focus for that whole thing, wasn't I? Come over here. All right, let's do a deep dive look at the K. So, whoops. Jazzy didn't do that. That was all me. Create a K much like the traditional cursive stroke. Add a larger top loop for a prettier letter. So there they're even telling you to customize this to make it look the way you want it to look, what appeals to you. So they're starting at near the midline. That's what the dot is. That's where they're starting. So they're coming light up, around, and heavy down, just like an L. But then they stop. Lift your pen, come back to the midline over here, and they're going kind of heavy fat down, a little loop, light up, and there's your connector stroke. So you can see the direction of the arrow. So you can start way, way over to the left and have a bigger swoop, or you can keep it like this one, a little less fancy, a little less frilly. So here you can see they come over quite a bit and cross over, versus here where they're keeping it a little simpler. This one they've got a little loop where they connect to the vertical stroke, and here not so much. So you can see this one's a little bit fatter, and this one, even though it's a bit of a downstroke, is a little bit thinner. So that is the lovely letters version of the K. Let's see what some of the other options are. So the Tombow Fudenosuke free download. This is the K. And so it's much more vertical. It's much more overall. The whole shape of the letter is much more curved. They've got a huge loop at the top, but they don't really start over to the left. And then they're doing the loopy K as opposed to just the crisscross K. Right? So this one was crisscross more. That's hard to describe. Whereas this one's actually got the loop. I never cared for the loop. I won't be doing the loop. This is the boxed set from Caleograph. And so they're starting quite a bit further over, keeping the loop a little smaller here. They're also doing the loop for the top of the K, and then they're dropping down below baseline. I always feel like these look a little bit more like bounce lettering, but that is, that certainly is an option. And then let's look and see what's in the Caleograph Made Easy book. So here's their K. So kind of halfway in between, right? A mid-sized top loop, a little bit more of a slant. They're also, again, doing the loop. And then the bottom connector stroke. And this one actually is, so when they do the loop, it's important to look at the direction of the circle, right? So they're showing you right here that you're doing a light up and then coming around down low, a heavy down, so clockwise. And then coming out with this light connector stroke foot, if you will, to the K. Let's see if there are any alternates to the K. Here we go. Yeah, so this is more the way I have been doing my K, which is without the loop. So the light up, heavy down, the vertical part of it, just like an L. And then I keep mine, no surprise, a little less frilly. I just do a slash and then the little foot, if you will. And here you can see where they're actually following the convention where, since this top part is a downstroke, it's heavy. And then when you do the connector, it should be heavy where you come down away from the K, the vertical part of the K, and then light when you bounce and go back up for your connector. So this is the way I've been practicing my K. I know I'm not going to have a breakthrough if I just do the same old thing that I've been doing that I don't care for, but if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So, all right, let's start with the Tombow. So first we're going to do the vertical part of the K, which is going to be kind of like the L. Light up, heavy down. But then you're not coming around, right? You're going to lift your pen and you're going to start midline or near midline. Play with it. You can start up higher. You can start down lower. I'm going to start a little down lower. Heavy and then light connector. And I feel like it's a little top heavy. My top loop's a little bit big, so I'm going to slim that down a little bit. So kind of like that. That's not bad. You can play with, see how this one I came much more horizontal versus I'm getting a little more vertical there with that one. So you can play with all of that. You can play with this line being straight or curved. So there's a curvier one, which, no surprise, I don't really care for the curviness. You can start further over to the left. I actually like that, surprisingly, a little bit better. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about the K that I don't care for. I've never liked it. Okay, next we'll do the small end of the Caleograph. Oh, Jazzy, you gave me a heart attack, buddy. I didn't hear you. I definitely don't like it when this gets too wide. I like the narrower ones better, which you kind of need to keep the top part narrow. Otherwise you got to come way out with this connector foot in order to clear it and reach the next letter. All right, so maybe you found a K right now that you like, maybe not. Let's try attaching it to a word and see if that affects our decisions. Sometimes I find it makes me want to change my letter a little bit. So let's try the word no. Not bad, not bad. Didn't have enough room there. That's okay. Okay, I think I have definitely decided I like that little start to the left. I feel like the K's, I don't know why, they look a little lopsided to me without this little extra bit over here. I don't know. You'll have to let me know in your comments after you've tried this week what you ended up with for your K. So next let's try kilt. So we're going to have to dot an I right next to our K there. So we're going to want our upper part of our K and our upper part of our L to look as identical as possible to make it look polished and smooth. And we also need to, we're getting to practice again putting a T right next to another ascender and leaving ourselves enough room to cross the T without it looking crowded and jumbled. So interesting thought on this one, if I start to the left on the K, do I need to start to the left on the L? Or does it look better that way because it's the first letter in the word and it just needs a little extra because it's the first letter? That, I suspect, could be the thing. What we'll find out when we move the K later on to where it's not the first letter in the word. But I definitely think, for me, if it's starting the word, I want that little extra bit there. Keep going, buddy. Keep going. Oh. Did you just step on my pen? You have green on your foot now. So Jazzy climbed in my lap. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm sitting at a little bit of an angle now, so. So I like the K better, starting way over, but I feel like it's having an unintended side effect of making the top part of my L fatter as well. So I'm trying to fight that. All right, let's put the K in the middle. Let's try bake. So yeah, I just naturally started my B over further to the left, but then I started my K like my L. So I think that's what it is. I think it's, for me at least, if I start the word with an ascender, I want that little extra bit to help balance out the front of the word. I wonder if this could help me with my F. I wonder if that'll help me like my F a little bit better too. I guess we'll find out in a few weeks. All right, and if we're going to bake something, we might want to have milk with it. So let's try the K at the very end of the word now. Shouldn't be any surprises here. Honestly, I think the trickiest thing about this word is to stop at the baseline there and not come on around like a second L. I definitely squished that one because I was anticipating not having enough room for the last word there. Okay, let's try deck. So I had to get a D in here. Make sure when you're doing this little last foot on your K that you're keeping your heavy for this part and then light when you change directions and go up. And because your heavy movement is in line with the angle of the tip of the pen, it'll naturally be kind of medium instead of fat or thin. And that's what it should look like. Heavy, heavy, light. We're gonna do it. We're gonna squish it in. And last but not least, Hulk. So I think based on the B and the K, I'm going to start my H over a little further. Yeah, I like that. Hulk. Jazzy keeps sneaking up behind me and giving me heart attacks. I know cats aren't supposed to make much noise, but gosh, I'm in the zone, man. He keeps scaring me. It just occurred to me how fitting it is that I'm writing Hulk in green over and over, because I grew up watching The Incredible Hulk, the old Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno version. And for those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, The Incredible Hulk was green. Jazzy! He's grabbing my arm. He wants to climb back in my lap. Almost done, buddy. And then we'll go snuggle. There we go. We made it. We made it. If I zoom out, you guys will be able to see where he's sitting. Right there. All right, let's put this in my planner and compare to last year so that I can put poor little Jazzy out of his misery. It's very cold in our house right now. It is unexpectedly, for the Pacific Northwest, it has been snowing, which is very rare even in the middle of winter for the Pacific Northwest, but even rarer for spring. So there we go. There is our last ascender, the letter K. Let's look at what we did last year. See if there are any, oh, Hulk and Hulk. I do not check back to see what my words were, so there we go. You can see the comparison, direct comparison, Hulk versus Hulk. So I hope you have had your discovery and you like the K that you ended up with. I think part of the reason I didn't like my K was because I was trying to stay thin as I came down on this little foot. And it's not, we've been learning light up, heavy down, right? So that needs to be heavy when you come down. But because of the angle of the point of the pen, it doesn't make it super fat. So don't be afraid to use heavy pressure when you come down out of your K to draw this last little piece, this last little foot. It's not gonna make it super fat and make it look chunky. Just try it once, trust me, it's not. So there we go. I hope you like this video. I hope you like your K by the end of your practice. And are looking forward to starting some descenders next week with the letter J. I have to like the letter J. My name is Judy, so I hope you like this video. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.